And welcome to another episode of Thursday Thoughts. I am excited today and wearing my green, my Kelly green, for two reasons. One, our birds in 2-0. Kevin, high five for our birds. And two, this show is all about sustainability, so green kind of goes with that as well. But Kevin, first show back since being a proud father of two. How are you doing today, man?
You tell me, do my eyes look open? Do I look awake?
Yeah, they're about as fuzzy as your background. Yeah.
I'm going to do my best. You fake it till you make it, right?
I hear you, brother. I hear you, man.
But
Well,
you know
listen.
what? I just as you said, Zach, I did just have my second child,
Yeah.
and I now have two kids under 3 years old, and the future, it's all about them. So, with that in mind, today's topic is just that much more important. We're doing it for ourselves. We're also doing it for the next generation. I'm
Love
so
it.
glad we're having this conversation today.
Awesome, man. Let's get right into it. Again, everybody, welcome to Thursday Thoughts. Lego. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Thursday Thoughts, where we introduce you to amazing thought leaders, marketers, business owners, and all around great people. And we're super excited today to talk about sustainability. We're going to get into even what that means. I think a lot of folks just think, "Oh, I recycle." No, it's more than that. So I can't really wait to get into that conversation. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited. I know our shows, we always focus on business topics, and today's topic is just about life, right? I mean, it's important in our business. It's important for our personal lives, and I'm thrilled. I don't know what took us so long, but I'm thrilled that we finally have this topic for today. And otherwise, you're wearing your Kelly green, as you said. What a great time to be an Eagles fan.
Right.
Phillies are looking a little shaky lately, but last night was a good night. Hopefully, we're headed to the playoffs there,
Indeed.
and it's a good time to be here.
Right. Folks that are watching, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, make sure you are liking, commenting, and sharing the show. And if you have questions, make sure you throw them in for our awesome guest, the one and only Colleen Falicki. Let me tell you a little bit about Colleen. Colleen grew up in King of Prussia, PA, and earned her Bachelor's of Arts degree in Communications and Radio TV from Shippensburg University. Colleen spent the beginning of her career in corporate communications, marketing, and sales, followed by a 12-year career as a realtor where she prided herself on providing exceptional experience for each and every client. Since having her first child in 2005, she became deeply passionate about leaving the world a better place, just like Kevin said, for her children, her children's children, and so on. As a way to support others on their sustainability journey, in 2017, Colleen founded Back to Earth Compost Crew. Back to Earth Compost Crew provides residential, curbside, and commercial compost pickup, along with compost collection sites and compost education in the suburban Philadelphia area. Colleen is a founding member of Eco Rotary Club of Southeastern PA and is training as a soil advocate with Kiss the Ground. She enjoys volunteering in the community and giving back to a number of organizations. She resides in Plymouth Meeting with her husband, Rick, and two children. Colleen enjoys spending time outdoors with her family, walking or hiking, cheering on her kids in their sports endeavors, and of course, going to farmers market. So super excited to introduce you all to our friend, the one and only Colleen Falicki. How are you today, Colleen?
Hi. Good afternoon, Zach. Kevin, great to see you. Thanks for having me on today.
Of course. Of course. We're super excited to have you. We've gotten really close over the last few months. We'll tell people why in just a little bit. But, I'm one of those folks who kind of always just thought, as long as I'm putting the plastic stuff in the blue bin and, I'm not, littering, I'm doing a pretty good job of saving the earth and doing my part. But I know it's so much more than that. So I figured let's start things off like this for folks, because I think there's some questions here. It's just, what is sustainability? Like, can we just define that, and you give us a little bit of information on what is sustainability?
Sure. So like you said, a lot of people want to do their part. They're recycling and they are looking at different ways to be a better steward for our earth. And like the definition of sustainability, avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. So we all have an opportunity to take care of our planet and do things to keep the ecological balance. Actually, the UN has a economic and social council, and they focus on 3 pillars of sustainable development: economic, social, and environment. So holistically speaking. Today, we're going to focus on, the environmental and like how small businesses specifically can make some changes to be more sustainable and environmentally friendly.
Gotcha. Love it. So one thing we wanted to talk about is like the importance of sustainability. So why does it matter for all these different elements of sustainability for us to actually enact? And I've always been that one, and like, all right, as long as I do my part, like that's all I can really care for. But it's really important for like every single person to get on board with this. And it's almost like we're not going to get political, but it's almost like voting. It's like, I think a lot of people have that mindset of like, oh, enough people are voting, I don't have to, and they're going to, do their part. But it's really important for everybody to get involved. So can you speak a little bit about like how to get folks involved in sustainability and the importance of everyone doing it?
Sure. I mean, that's a pretty broad, it's broad. Like there's so many reasons out there to be more, to be sustainable. We're trying to reduce like Kevin said, he has 2 kids and he wants them to have, a better future, and their kids to have, a place where there's still trees and, it's the streams are healthy. We have fresh water, and, we're seeing some impacts right now on our planet of what's happening with not having fresh water and just things that are happening with our weather patterns. But we're trying to reduce our impact now so we can continue to have natural resources in the future. That's, the bottom line. And how we get there, and like you said, everyone can take a part in doing this is crucial. And we can all do something little, and it really all adds up. So don't think just because you're a small business or you're a small household that you can't, or one person, but everyone, and we all have a ripple effect too. So when we do something, someone will see it and think, oh, you're doing that, like I have the opportunity, and then they'll do it, or they'll share with their neighbor. I just taught 2 composting workshops this week, and we were talking about that same thing. It builds a sense of community. Neighbors will ask, friends will ask, they'll want to get involved. Just seeing what you're doing to preserve resources, make compost in your garden. You need leaves, you need certain things to create this compost. And so you might not have them, but your neighbor might, and maybe you can give them finished compost in return. So it's being a good steward of our earth. And we're going to talk about ways today where small businesses can participate and do it, starting right now.
Gotcha. Before we jump into those 5 ways, I want to dig a little deeper into compost and also break down for folks what other ways can you be sustainable? Because again, my biggest thing was like, I recycle. I feel like that's basic level, bottom of the pyramid, recycle. Now, I also know folks, Kevin Homer, your mom, who will tell me that even though you're putting it in the recycling, not all the stuff in the recycling is actually getting recycled. And, there's a deeper level you can go just for that. I think that next level is compost. Tell us a little bit about what that really is. So that's me just taking the food that I don't eat and turning it into soil.
Yeah.
Am I saying that accurately?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're taking organic material and, it's transforming into a soil conditioner that is like teeming with life, tons of nutrients. If I had, I wish I had the picture, but it's basically like a human. Then there's a plant and the soil, and all of the elements that are in the soil are in our bodies, or the elements that are in the plants are in our bodies. We want to make the soil as rich and nutritious as possible so the plants can get the most out of it, and they can create, we can have food that's ultimately has the best nutrition. And but by making compost and applying it to our farms and our gardens, we can do just that. It also, when applied to, like when we create this compost and add it to the dirt, add it to the soil, it actually sequesters carbon. So we're in effect, helping to reverse the climate change, with compost, like finished product of composting. But yes, it is taking organic matter. You can compost your leaves. You don't have to compost, your food waste. You can leaves, your garden matter, whatever you're growing in your garden, and create finished compost with it. And also the microbiome, like what's in the soil, is so important for life as well.
We're going to define that word for people in the caption, or microbiome, and it went up here, but I believe it's important. Kevin, feel free to jump in on this. I know we have composting, recycling. I don't know if you do solar power. Like, I've seen some of my neighbors have solar power panels. I take it that's a part of sustainability. There's wind power. What else are we missing? What else is in that sustainability world?
Well, we have some way. So I started with packaging. There's so many different ways. Like, we're going to talk about packaging, reducing and recycling. Compost is obviously one of them. Doing business with other sustainable businesses, and I can break down each one.
We'll go through them all. I'm thinking more like big picture. You have solar power.
Solar power. Riding a bike to work, taking the bus to work instead of, driving by yourself in your car, carpooling. If there's paths to, there's a lot of new electric bike places popping up. We actually have a compost route that we pick up via electric bike in Conshohocken.
Heard about that.
Yeah. And also going to be launching another location where we're doing that. So we're just trying to reduce our carbon footprint by doing that. So solar panels, also retrofitting lighting, energy efficient appliances. These all can, fall under being more sustainable. Composting, recycling, but also repurposing, or also not purchasing. Like you had said, recycling, maybe thinking first about where it's going to go after you use it. So reducing the trash that we send to the landfills, because our landfills are overburdened. Also, they're not the best way to, if you can reduce first before putting them in there, they're not the best for our environment. They do, offset methane gas, which is not good for our environment, not good for our planet. So,
and I know that when you're in a junkyard, you need air, right? You need oxygen for this stuff to break down. So even if you think you have something that's biodegradable, something that should, in theory, break down and compost, when it gets to the junkyard, like I know it, from what I've heard, and you, of course, you're the expert, Colleen, but it just doesn't happen because there's no oxygen getting to it because there's so much stuff on top of it now.
Yep. It's an anaerobic environment. It's not going to break down. Even, food that's in there, or things that say it's, biodegradable. I think we kind of have to take a step back and really look at what we're buying first and where it's going to go, like in the end. I think the figure is like 106. In the United States, we throw away 167 million tons of trash a year. And I just read the other day, because I was looking at, I have like straw options, because when you go out, they always offer you a straw, or they give you a straw. 500 million straws are used a day in the United States alone. A lot of them end up in our oceans. And we have the power to change that. I mean, each one of us, like, you can say, no, I don't want a straw. I know a lot of businesses now have compostable, and they also will break down in the water after 3 to 6 months. So, and also figuring out like what's in those too is important. But let's try to cut down on the amount of straws, just saying no or bringing your own. There's a lot of options where you can buy and you can just carry. I have, there's one now that's just on a keychain, and it's a silicone straw that bends up and put it inside. And yeah, I mean, it's.
My wife has the metal straws. She uses metal straws all the time.
We have those at home, and we use those. But going out and like takeout, and there's, when you're out, there's a lot of, you're on the run and you just need something quick, and there's a straw. So just, maybe saying no and using your own straw, or not even using a straw. A lot of times I won't, get one. When to refill, I use my own coffee cup, like bringing your own. I have a set of bamboo silverware, so taking things with you that you can come bring it home and wash it and reuse it. talk more about that in the kind of in our bullet points.
Right.
I know the term that we use is, reduce, reuse, recycle. And it's supposed to go in that order, right? Your first choice is to reduce whatever it is you're typically doing. Reuse, if you do have to use it, how can we use it the second time? And then really recycling is the third option, right?
Yes. It should be, the bottom. And repurposing, purchasing pre-owned items. I mentioned to Zach, like the lamp behind me it was actually, I think, gold. I don't know. I spray painted it bronze, just to give it a new life. And, there's a lot of ways where we can reuse products so they don't have to go to the landfill. Repairing is one of them. It's like the lost art, I feel like repairing furniture so you don't have to get rid of it. Sewing, fixing your clothes, all those sorts of things, kind of getting back to doing those types of things. Right. So I know there is a resurgence of that, and I think it's really important. We have to think about.
It's a shame. It's so frustrating. I feel like manufacturing today, like everything is being manufactured in a cheap way that's meant to be thrown away. Mm-hmm. And when it's time for something to get fixed, or you need, your printer, you need a new ink cartridge. Like they produce it in a way that it's cheaper to just get something new.
Yeah.
Than to actually fix or get the ink cartridge for your existing printer or get the new razor blade for your razor. And it's a shame from a financial perspective. That's how they price it, but it is so non-sustainable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's awful. We as a society, we need to figure out a way,
I agree. We need to change our buying habits, just change and demand that, things change that way, because otherwise, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Or create the change, do something where you're creating the change as well.
Yes. Inspiring others. Rebuying and buying stuff. Quick plug. Habitat for Humanity is like my favorite place to go.
Same.
When I got my house, that was the first spot we went to. We got a kitchen table, even replaced a cabinet from stuff there. Like Habitat for Humanity for the win. So 100%. Folks, we're going to get to the second half of our show and talk a little bit about these tips more specifically. But as we told you last week, we have a new segment. It's called Show Partners, where we give a little love to someone who is a client or partner of the brand. So let's jump into that right now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Speaking of Sustainability, the show where we introduce you to the leaders and change agents making a difference in the sustainability space. I'm your host, Colleen Falicki. After starting my composting business in 2017, I quickly realized that our communities are looking for more ways to be sustainable in their daily lives and to support eco-friendly businesses. I'm so excited to introduce you to some sustainable superheroes as we all look to make our planet a better place for years to come.
Look familiar?
It looks familiar. I didn't realize that you were going to play that. Thanks.
Super excited to share with folks that we're actually going to be producing Colleen's upcoming podcast and webcast, Speaking of Sustainability. And she's going to have some amazing guests on there. We're not going to go too much into depth about the show today, but we are going to be debuting soon. So we're super excited for that, and super excited for you, Colleen. This is your first podcast, so we're pumped to help you out with it.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you guys are working with me. I couldn't do it this myself, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. No problem. Good. Now let's get into these tips. All right. First one we want to talk about in the 5 ways to be more sustainable is using sustainable packaging and email invoices instead of mailing, which I know, Kevin, you're big on that. We send out electronic invoices all the time. I don't know if we used to do paper or not.
Sure.
I'm sure back in the day we did. But let's talk a little bit about that, about, using sustainable packaging and, of course, email instead of mail.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you're doing email invoices. Because I'll talk about that first, but I was thinking about it, like 100 customers times once a month, right? For one, that's just one sheet, one piece of paper invoice. Then you think about the envelope, That's, 1,200 pieces of paper, 1,200 envelopes, 2,400 a year. And then mailing them, the cost, for the stamp and the time to stuff the envelopes. If you think about how much paper you're using, and that's 100 customers. So scaling back, these days, just thinking off the top of my head, QuickBooks, PayPal, Stripe, there's different ways where you can send invoices where folks can either pay online, or if they, want to send a check, do that, or pay through their bank electronically. So there's a lot of different ways. Zelle. So thinking of those in mind. Also boxes, shipping boxes. So when you're getting boxes in, keeping in mind what you can do with them instead of just throwing them in the recycling bin. First thing top of mind, because I just taught the compost class last night, you can rip those up and put them in your composter. So for those of you that are composting at home, we need brown matter, carbon in our composters, and a lot of times it's not readily available, especially through the winter when there's no leaves around. Saving leaves is great, but if you have your cardboard, that is compostable for the most part.
Is this any cardboard box? It's only brown cardboard boxes?
Yeah, brown non-coated cardboard boxes. Take the staples out. If there's glue, you obviously don't want to use that area. But for the most part, compostable. There's also businesses.
That's pretty much every Amazon box that you receive. How many Amazon boxes do we get a day?
Right.
And by the way, quick plug: if Amazon, you can sign up for your Amazon day. If you buy stuff every day, you can ask that it get delivered all on the same day. That is more sustainable, right?
Perfect. Yeah, that is.
Come to your house every other day.
I did not realize that. That's good to know.
Yeah. So I know Thursday is my day. Every once in a while, yes, you need something immediately. You can't wait till Thursday. It is what it is.
Right.
Also, sometimes the products are coming from different facilities. So, you order a few different things.
Sure.
I may order 4 things. It ends up coming in 2 deliveries, but 2 is still better than 4, right? So.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if you can avoid that. And also purchasing local, obviously no boxes or less boxes if you're going to your local store or your hardware store. And when you do have the shipping material, I know some of the boxes will come with brown paper. Again, that can be compostable or reused there's a business in the community that actually collects boxes, and that's how they ship. They use old boxes to ship their products in. So you could, instead of buying new boxes and they're, fresh, brand new, whatever, your logo on them, just as long as they don't have any markings or the address, obviously cover all of that, because, they might be confused by what is already on the box, but you can reuse it easily, or just put it out there. There's the buy nothing pages. Usually people are looking to get rid of boxes. So that's a good strategy as opposed to buying new, reusing other boxes. And the packaging, there's also compostable peanuts, which are really cool. I don't know if you've ever received anything with those. They actually dissolve in water. Those
are little white ones, right? The little white.
Yeah. Not all of them are compostable. I would assume that more and more, but and then you can just save them and reuse them in your shipping, or compost them. They're, and again, another option as opposed to using plastic inside your shipping. So a couple different options there with the invoices, the boxes. I guess number 2, we had talked about reduce, reusing, and recycling. When you're kind of looking for space or office space or looking for new furniture, Zach said it, the Habitat for Humanity, the Restore store is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's a great first option to check out to see. They have a number of stores. So if maybe one doesn't have it, you can go to, I know there's one locally here, East Norton, there's one in Phoenixville, I think Warminster. But check out the pre-owned furniture. A lot of times you'll find great things to keep out of the landfill and also for your pocketbook. Thrift stores, other thrift stores besides Habitat for Humanity. I was going to say also shopping when you're looking for appliances, the energy efficient appliances. So if you have like a lunchroom in your office, instead of getting, plates that are one-time use or plasticware, looking to get silverware and a dishwasher, and use, coffee mugs, silverware. A full load of, dishes in the dishwasher is actually using less water than you would like washing them. Right. So, and it's a great way to just, again, like not use one-time use plastics. There's also compostable plates and things like that if you have a need for those. So keep that in mind. And then, keeping recycle simple. You can start with a waste audit in your office or your place of, business, and just kind of get a feel for what you're going through on a weekly basis or for a couple weeks, so you can figure out how you're going to proceed. But recycling bins next to each printer, helpful to have, because then you're not, throwing your paper in the trash.
Smart.
And then the batteries too. That's another thing to think of. Like if you're using, I know rechargeable batteries are excellent. There's different ways to recycle those as well. And other batteries, call to the number 2, recycle.org is a good website to check out for local places. Like I think Staples collects them. There's places where you can go to bring your batteries. There's also an organization, I think, that they'll ship you a box and you can put your batteries in there. Helpful if you use a lot. Also, the rechargeable, I think, are better, but you can, recycle the ones that you have. And another good resource for your office would be moncopa.org. They have it's a long list of items that can be recycled. No matter what business you're in, there's a way to find out how to recycle, I think, like everything. It's pretty extensive. So if you're in Pennsylvania, or if you're in, Montgomery County, and your county might even have something like that, if you Google that or check with your county recycling manager, there's a lot of different things that you can recycle. I know our county recycling manager is great about, doing educational programs with businesses. So might be a good resource for that.
Awesome.
Yep.
And I know, I didn't even know there was a county recycling manager. So like, I have a lot to learn. But thank you for dropping this knowledge on me. The number 3 that we had was composting. We're not going to dive into this one because we kind of already talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But just to reiterate, everybody should be composting. It would be so beneficial to the world, to our environment, if more people got into that. So I do have a plan to start composting myself. I actually saw this. I think you guys posted it. Great social media follow too. Make sure you all are following Back to Earth Compost Crew. It was like a machine or something that like rotated or something.
Tumbler.
Like yeah, tumbler. Like, I was like, that makes it fun. Like I want a little tumbler in my backyard. But yeah, make sure you're following Back to Earth Compost Crew to learn a lot more about composting. The number 4 tip that we had.
Can I go back real quick to compost? I just want to make a mention. So for the tumbler, Zach, if you get that, hop onto our website and sign up for our Zoom class. We do it once a month on the first Wednesday of each month, 7 p.m. It's an hour, but you'll learn how to compost in your backyard. And we teach you how to use a tumbler. So if you get it, what's that?
Every month you're teaching people.
Yes, every month. We at least once a month we do the compost workshop. But real quick, if you're not in our area, check out Institute for Local Self-Reliance. As far as composting, there are compost companies like mine around the country that are working with businesses, and obviously like individuals for curbside pickup. But if you're a business that wants to compost, either you're a restaurant or brewery, or even just in your lunchroom, these companies can help you out. Institute for Local Self-Reliance.
Awesome. Another link we'll be putting in the comments and description. Let's hop over to the number 4. It was seek out and do business with other sustainable businesses, which I don't know how to find them. So I don't know if there's a resource you can give us for that, but talk a little bit about, supporting sustainable businesses.
Yeah. Oh, wow, Zach, I didn't even, think like like, how do you even locate these? Just because I guess I'm in it and I'm doing this on a daily basis. I'm really passionate about connecting with other like-minded business owners and sustainable business owners. So I am searching, online in social media and just kind of getting a feel for who's out there. So that's what I did initially. But you can also follow, if you follow us, I love to promote sustainable businesses. So you'll find out about them from that. We also include it in our newsletter, but search online, local sustainable businesses. I think you'll be able to find some resources that way. I say seek out vendors who prioritize sustainability. If you want to do that, find vendors. I enjoy talking with our potential composters because they're always sharing with me what else they're doing. And I'll talk a little bit about that, about how to take action, but what else are they doing in their company? Do they have a committee, or, what other actions they're taking? And I can learn from them and, to do better for our business. But a simple Google, like I said, or asking for referrals from your contacts, who do you work with that is sustainable or prioritizes, they're earth friendly, they're holistically sustainable, they're, that type of business. They're out there. I read a stat. It was 60% of consumers they want to purchase from businesses that are sustainable. So, being a sustainable business and sharing that with your customers and with, public is important. If you're doing it, I think it is helpful to share that with everyone.
What I just popped in my mind? I feel like there's now going to be a resource page added to the Back to Earth Compost Crew website, so we can tell people to go to your website to find.
There you go. At one point there was actually.
Oh yeah.
And I felt like there were so many pages, but I like that, and I think that we should probably add it back in. Yeah, we did. We highlighted the businesses, and I think that we do it a lot on our social media, and like I said, I'm passionate about showcasing diverse businesses, sustainable businesses. It's important to do that for me.
Awesome. And we have one last tip. I know, Kevin, you're going to be able to speak to this pretty well. Use less resources, retrofitting lighting, appliances that use less water, etc. Kevin, I want to start with you. Tell us about your using less resources story.
I don't know if it's a story or not, but so obviously we have, I know we have viewers from around the country right now, and every state, every company is going to offer different types of rebates. But I know here in southeastern PA, for anyone who's getting energy through Pico, like we do, we are actually upgrading our entire office building right now, from the traditional lights to LED lights. And there are rebates available through Pico and rebates available through this, I believe it's through the state. And the value of what we're getting, we're paying very little for the value. It is making us more sustainable. It's going to give us much better quality. Obviously, our energy bills are going to go way down. I think our investment's going to be returned in 5 months, they said, based on our current usage throughout our entire office building.
That's great.
The lights that we're replacing constantly right now are going to last 30 years. So we're going to save money on that. And it's less light going into the landfill, which of course, it's fluorescent lights. It doesn't get much worse than that when it comes to, what's being seeped into our earth. So it's going to cost less. It's going to be more sustainable. It's going to be a lot convenient because it's just something we don't have to worry about. And of course, our energy bills are going down. So that's always great. And I know with other appliances too, I mean, when you replace your old refrigerator with an energy efficient refrigerator, Pico will come and haul it away. They'll give you a little rebate. You'll get a little money back, plus the energy savings and the money you'll save there. There's so many programs, right? And Colleen, you can probably speak more to that, but
yeah, I was actually going to mention that the upgraded lighting, and you hit all the highlights. Just less in the landfill, less energy output, less you're paying. It's all around. It's a win-win. So I would definitely check it out in your area. If you're not in the southeastern PA area, definitely look into that, as well as the appliances. Energy Star rating, using a dishwasher, as I mentioned before, as opposed to one-time use plastic or throwaway. Turning the lights up or adding the light switches that automatically turn off the lights when you're not in a room. think that's important as well. Looking into solar, if you're able to do that where you're at, and that's something as well, for sure.
Shout out to those toilets. I tried to put a little picture, but you can't really tell.
And the low flow toilets. They're actually,
yeah.
We just got one where you can actually change how much water you want in there. So, I mean, there's definitely different ways that you can to add, to use less water for your toilets, your shower heads, for your home, but things like that, just looking for ways to avoid using the water. Also getting a rain barrel. So
yeah, my sister-in-law actually had a rain barrel installed in their backyard, and they use that to water all of their plants. And shout out to the first time I saw one of those toilets that had 2 little buttons on the top, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And they had a little quick flush and then the real flush.
Right.
Like, awesome. Like I think that's fantastic. So yeah, that's another great way to be sustainable. And whether, again, we're talking about a lot of this stuff in relation to your business and your office, but all of it works and all of it translates to your home and how you live on a daily basis. I did not know, and you just put me on, Colleen, that you might be able to get your old fridge taken away through Pico, buying a new one.
And like a rebate too. They have, you can look on their website. They have rebates for that. They'll give you money back.
I will be looking into that ASAP because I have to replace the fridge in my tenant's house. And I was like, whose truck am I going to get to carry? And where am I going to do with this? I'm calling Pico. So, and
if you can't get it hauled away, call me. I have a truck.
There we go. Yeah, I'm holding you to that one, Colleen.
Well, here's another Pico, again, for our viewers who are in the southeastern PA area. Pico offers an in-home energy assessment that I actually took advantage of about a year ago. I felt our home was cold, but in my mind, I thought maybe there were some seals in our windows that needed to be repaired. That wasn't the issue. It ended up being ductwork. But anyway, I paid about $50 for them to come out. They inspected everything around the house, all of the appliances, all of the light fixtures. We had a ton of recommendations of how I could add efficiencies into our home. And then what was even better was I did have a number of lights that were not LED yet, and they actually gave me all new light bulbs for me to put in the basement, throughout the house. So I think it was $49 for them to come out. I got over $100 worth of light bulbs itself. Plus,
worth it. It's worth it for sure.
So worth it. So definitely recommend. They'll tell you if your appliances are efficient. They'll give you light bulbs. They'll give you recommendations. They'll show you where there's seals broken under the door that would help.
That's great.
Highly recommended.
I wonder if they do that for businesses. That's something to look into.
It definitely is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of looking into, so if you want to implement these things in your small business, obviously, like we talked about all this, but the next step is like taking action, right? Getting things done. So establishing a committee or a group that's interested in this. There's a lot of like all of us already, like we're passionate, interested in being more sustainable. There's someone there that you work with that's got to be interested in this, that might want to take the lead on something like this, or a group, meet on a regular basis. Like I had said, like I talk to businesses almost daily just about what other things besides compost they're implementing. And most of the time there's someone that's heading this up, or there's a committee involved, and then establishing a clear sustainable objective, and then, goals, because obviously you can't do everything at once. But small steps, if you have, goals in mind, will get you to where you want to be. And this is a great start. Like today's conversation, I feel like if you haven't thought about sustainability, this is a great way a place to start.
Right. For everybody, you got to start somewhere. And I have a few level ups I'm about to do. I'm already doing the recycling. But now I'm going to start the composting. I'm going to be checking out, do that energy survey and figure out, how can I save here and at my tenant's house. So this was great. This was a great kickoff for me. Colleen, we really appreciated having you today. We're super excited to work with you on your podcast coming out soon. Any parting words for our guests?
Oh, no. Well, thank you both for having me today. This is fantastic. Parting words would be like, you can do it. Just start small, like just focus on one area. When you feel like you have that conquered, focus on the next area and then build from there. A year from now, you'll look back and be like, wow, I was able to make these, 3 or 4 or 5 changes. And what else can I focus on after that? So, yeah. And I'm here as, support. We can even put my email address in there and they can contact me with, you can contact me with any questions going forward.
Fantastic. Great advice, great info. Speaking of great advice, that's all that we bring you here on Thursday Thoughts. And next month, we have a return guest. I think we've only had 1 or 2 of these in the past, Kevin, but Sheldon Bartlett Rumor is going to be coming. She is amazing, the founder of This Is It TV. And we're going to be talking about the value of content and a little bit about how to make it. So a content Thursday Thoughts coming up. You won't want to miss that. So make sure you tune in and join us on October 20th. But again, great show. Thank you so much, Colleen. A belated extra congratulations to you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We're glad you're awake and alive and lively today. I didn't know if I was going to have you. I didn't know. You lost last month. I didn't know if I was getting you this month.
I would never skip an opportunity to spend 45 minutes talking with Colleen. She's a wealth of knowledge and always a fun conversation.
Appreciate it. And I will say, with being tired, I don't know, I have teenagers now, and it's a different level of tired because now one's out driving, and it's interesting progression. But at some point, we get some sleep.
That's what I hear. I'll let you know when that happens. But Zach, you always ask me if I have parting words, and you're probably tired of hearing my parting words, but I'm going to volunteer myself and give them anyway. So first is going to be a real statement. I think, Colleen, we just discussed so many different ways to help towards sustainability. And obviously some of them are, a little less convenient sometimes. They're still so important, but less convenient. But I think we also talked about so many very, very simple ways to contribute towards sustainability. And, I hope, everyone listening, you don't have to go from, 0 to 100 overnight, but every little bit that you do, goes a long way. And then a piece of it, Zach always loves and prefers when I end these Thursday Thoughts with a good old-fashioned dad joke. So here we go. For any of our viewers who are single and maybe going to a singles event, if you meet somebody new, I recommend that you start talking about global warming because it is a real icebreaker.
Ba-dum-bum.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you on the next Thursday.
I'll be here next month. See you in October.
I might not let him come back.
Awesome. Take care. Thank you.